Welcome back, everyone. It's been a bit of a mixed week weather-wise, quite a lot of rain this week. So we had rain this morning, but it's all gone through now, and it's quite a nice day. Still a bit cool and windy, but at least I think it's going to be dry for the rest of the afternoon. So I've done some potting up this morning and yesterday at home, but because this afternoon was going to be dry, I thought I'll get up to the allotment and get the potatoes in the ground. So I've come up here, I've finished weeding the bed, and I'm going to put some, let me turn the camera around. Okay, so I finished weeding the bed and I got all the bindweed out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this farmyard manure in. This was some stuff I got from Wicks. It was supposed to be £7, but they were selling it for £4, so almost half price. So I've got 4 bags of that that's going to go in here. Then I'm going to use this, well, I'm going to attempt to use this hand tiller to work the manure into the ground. This is a good tool depending on the condition of the soil. Now, with the soil being wet, it's got a tendency to clump and stick, and if that happens, that tool's not going to be much good. But we'll give it a go anyway, and once we've used that, we'll make a couple of furrows with this. And that's as far as I'm going to get with the potatoes this afternoon, because in my rush to get up here, I forgot to bring potatoes with me. They're all at home in the shed. So what I can do is I can get the ground ready, and I can come up tomorrow, just put them in the ground and cover them over, and that should be it. So other things to do today, I've got the carrot box that I can do some work on, but let me just show you the first earlies. Now, I planted the first earlies in pots in these tubs a couple of weeks ago, and as you can see, they're all starting to come through now, so that's good. In fact, when I look in all the pots, I can see potatoes starting to come through, so that's a good sign. That's something anyway. This is bindweed in here. I'll take that out. I was going to use this for beans, so beans in that one and beans in this one. One of the beans in one, and purple climbing beans in the other one. So yeah, I'm not in a rush to do that at the minute, so I've got other jobs I can do. But yeah, the construction guys are working quite close to my plot, so it's going to be rather windy, rather noisy today. But let's crack on and see what we can get done with this potato bed. Okay, so I'm just going to slash these bags and scatter the contents all over this bed. Got a knife. Then I can rake it all over bed, get a more even level. And see if I can work it in with the tiller. So it's actually not too bad a day now that it stopped raining, but at least it gave me a chance to do a few things at home before I came. So what I'm going to do with this bed is I'm going to use this tiller, hand tiller, to mix the farmyard manure into the ground. Now the ground here is quite clayey, which means that during the winter when it gets wet, the soil gets very thick and heavy and difficult to work. And during the summer, when the sun comes out, there's been no rain, it bakes the ground as hard as concrete, and you'll often see the ground crack and move away from each other. So hopefully by putting this farmyard manure in, by adding the extra organic material, it will break up the clay a little bit and also help retain moisture during the summer. Now this wolf garden tool that I'm using is a hand tiller. You can get petrol driven ones. I haven't seen any electric ones, but you can get petrol driven ones. But because my plot has so much bindweed, if I was to use a electric one and I came across bindweed, then I'd just chop it up into one piece into about 300 pieces. So the hand tiller is a bit more gentle. It's a bit more, it's not as aggressive, but it still does the job. You just need a little bit more elbow power and a little bit more energy. But if the ground's too wet, all the clay soil just sticks to the tiller, and if the ground's too hard, then it's difficult as well, because it can't break through the hard crust. So luckily today, the compost or the soil is at just the right level of moisture in it to be able to use this hand tiller. Well, I've just spent the last half an hour looking for my microphone. The wind blew over the tripod and the microphone was lying on top of the camera and went flying. So this little thing here. So I had to clear all this. I'm just looking for it to see if I can find it in here. And unfortunately, fortunately, it actually gone behind the plastic. And that's why I couldn't see it. So I've now got all this area cleared a little bit. Just to get my microphone back. So let's crack on and get a bit more of this potato bed done. Well, there's the 3 rows for my potatoes. I'll come up tomorrow if it's dry and put them in the ground. That one bends a little bit, but it's not important. So yeah, I think that's as much as I'm going to be doing today. These sunflowers are doing well. I'm just giving them a water. I'll need to drain that excess water out and put the lid back on. The strawberries I planted at the weekend, as you can see, it looks like all of them are putting on new growth. So really they just needed planted out and watered, which they've had plenty of this week. Well, that's me for today. Back tomorrow to put the potatoes in the ground, maybe do a few other odd jobs, but I'll see you again tomorrow. Welcome back everyone. Thursday today, and I'm back on the plot, and this time I've actually remembered the potatoes. So let me take you over and show you what I've got. Right, now last year I saved all my green potatoes, and these are them all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a line of all these small ones, just to see what I get. So I'll put all these small ones in the one line, and these larger ones will go in a line as well. Ones like this one, which was a shame it was green, it's got two eyes on it, or two chips on it. So I'll cut that in half, and similar to this one, I'll cut this one in half as well, and this one. So that'll give me a few more. Can't remember with the varieties of these, and some of them might be earlies, and some of them might be Maincrop. And in this one, I've got 1 kilogram of Cara, which I've been growing for quite a few years now, quite a nice potato. And I got these from a trading hut. They were £1.90 for 1 kilogram. So these will all go in a line by itself as well. So I'm just going to chop these big ones off. Hang on. I'll just stick it on the tripod. And I'll chop these big ones. Don't have a chopping board, but this will do. So I've got two eyes, one there and one there, so I'm basically just going to cut it down so I've got an eye on each side. So that's that. It's got a bit rotten inside, but I think it should be okay. It should still take. This one I'll cut there. So I've got 2 in that one and about 5 in that one, but that's okay. This one, I've got 3 on this one and several on this one. Yeah, they need to go into the ground. They're all beginning to go a bit soft now, so just in time getting them into the ground. So I think that's it. I think that's as far as I'm going to go with them. So let's go over and have a look at the bed. We'll do the Cara first. I've got gloves somewhere. There they are. So Now this is the bed. I did prepare this yesterday, but when I got back up here today, I thought the furrows were quite close together. So I filled one in and spread them out. So I've got 3 now, and I've opened them up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop these in. It's not many of these, so I can space them out. In fact, I might cut a couple of them as well. So I'm just going to quickly slice a couple of the big ones. Right, so I'm just going to plant these in with the chits or the sprouts pointing up the way as best I can. Of course, nature will find a way and the shoots will start growing up the way anyway. I'm hoping these furrows are going to be deep enough. If they're not, they will need earthed up anyway, so I can earth them up to stop potatoes getting revealed to the sunlight. And I'll just put a few closer together, just do these last ones. Then all I have to do is just rake the soil. I can just rake the soil in. In fact, I can put one up here. I've put markers in the foot head of each furrow just so I can see where things are. It's a little bit busier today. Oh, bit of bindweed. And that's it, basically. That's the cara in. I will give them a little water. Actually, I won't bother because it's going to rain all night. So that's the cara in, and I'm just going to do the rest the same way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in I'm just going to sprinkle on the top some of this Vitax organic potato fertiliser. As I said, it's going to rain on quite a lot tonight, so I'm not going to bother washing this in. I'll just sprinkle on the top and let the rain wash it in. And another word of warning, if you're doing this on a windy day, keep your mouth closed, because this stuff doesn't taste very nice. Look at that big bit of bindweed. And another bit. And as you can see, I've put like a marker pole at the front of each furrow. Oh, it's good to finally get these out the house and in the ground. And seeing as I'm getting in a very forgetful stage of my life at the moment, I forgot to bring any coffee with me. I brought a flask of hot water and no coffee. That's it. So I've got my earlies in these potato pots, and Maincrop plus unknown potatoes in this bed. Right, on to the next job. Well, that's it. Just a little quick one today. Basically, coming up to put the potatoes in since I forgot them yesterday. A couple of little odd jobs got done. I fixed the wheel on the wheelbarrow. Last week, for some reason, the inner tube had moved round and pulled the valve into the tyre. So I took the tyre off, reseated the inner tube and put the tyre back on and pumped it up. So it's all working good now. Potatoes are in the ground. The sky's clouding over. I'm hungry. I haven't had a coffee all afternoon, so I'm going to go home. But thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And if you want to leave a comment, I do try and answer every comment. And give me a thumbs up if you're liking the content. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.